The goal of having a website with all the must-haves that we just talked about is to increase your inquiries so that you have more leads, so that you can speak to more qualified clients, so you can book more sales within your business, so you can make more money, more profit, and more personal income. So excited to be kicking off today's masterclass. In case you don't know me, I'm Erica Powell, owner and founder of Erica Powell & Co. We offer branding, website design, business coaching, and social media management. And I am super excited today to talk to you about website must-haves. There's a reason why I am passionate about branding and website design. It really does stem back from my first business. I didn't have a coach back then. I had finished a degree in business, had worked through college in interior design consulting, sold high-end furniture and home products. One of the very first things that I did running my first business, which was the wedding and event planning business, was competitor research. I was looking to see who are my competitors, what do their websites look like, what are they sharing on their websites, and how do I fit in with my market? I already knew that in order to charge well for my services, I needed to be differentiated from other people. Within about 2 years, I was able to become one of the leaders in my market, and I was charging 5 times as much as some of my competitors. Why is that important? It meant that I could take on less clients. Being able to increase my pricing also allowed me to hire a team very early on. Having a team for support was important, so charging the most I possibly could for my services was important. I was literally always obsessed with my brand and my website. I updated my website every single year. I made sure to swap out photos, change services, even change colors. I was always upgrading as I would learn and understand more about website design trends. I was always staying on the leading edge, and that allowed me to always stay up at the top of the industry in my area at the time. When I started my second business as an international wedding blogger, I already knew the power that a website could have, so I hired the best of the best to design it. And as a brand new business coach years later, I still believed in the power of brands and websites. The way that I became a business coach was actually backwards. As I was running the wedding blog, I was pushing traffic to the clients who were paying us for advertising. I would get calls from our clients saying, "Hey, we love you. We love your blog. We love the features that you write about us. But the reason that we signed up was because we wanted more clients, and I'm not closing more clients." So that was the message I was hearing. And I loved our clients. I had a passion for growing their business. It was something that I loved most about being a publisher, being able to share really talented people on my platform and help them get more business. So when I heard that, I was pretty crushed and I was like, okay, first, maybe it's me. And then second of all, maybe it's not. What I started to do was offer free coaching for my advertising clients at the time. I would just pick up the phone, call them and say, "Hey, I'm so sorry to hear this. Obviously, I want you to have more business as well. Let's take a look and see what might be the challenge here." And so I would walk through their brand, their website. We would talk about sales process, and then we would talk about what pieces of that could end up changing to help them get more of the results they were looking for. Shortly after that, we started my very first coaching program, Booked Like a Boss Boot Camp, and that was a 6-week boot camp helping people to boost their sales and inquiries. We had 45 amazing clients come through that program in our first year as a business coaching company, and then endless websites as well. What I've seen over the years is that the website and the brand is one of the most crucial ingredients to your success as a business owner. With our coaching clients, I've seen some insane things, literally not being able to close clients at all, to all of a sudden having too many inquiries to keep up with. In some instances, being able to 3 times or 10 times their pricing just because of their brand or their website. It has never escaped me how important this piece is. And yet I still teach about it and people are still surprised years later. For the most part, it's something that's often overlooked because of the price of having a brand and a website done properly. But what I always say is you have to look at the opportunity cost. Your website, if it's not done properly, could be costing you more than you realize. It could be costing you dream clients. People could be coming to you through your advertising or through your social media. And then when they get to your website, they may be clicking off and heading out before even inquiring. So that is really the true cost of not having a brand or a website that's up to the standards that your high-end dream clients need and want in order to feel comfortable booking you. Today, what I'm going to do is just dive through some of the key areas of your website that can help you get more bookings and more sales for your business. So the first thing that we're going to look at is branding. A lot of times before I start working with someone, they think that branding is a logo and they think that a logo is a brand. The visual part of the brand is only part of what an actual brand is. A brand goes so much deeper than that. So in addition to those visual elements, there's also the intangible, invisible pieces of your brand that you can't necessarily see, but people can feel, whether they're getting to know about you and your values and what makes you different or unique from your competitors. The pieces that go into building that visual brand would be your logo, your color palette, also your fonts, the way you use your fonts on your website. So when I look at websites, I can usually tell almost instantly if a professional has done their website or if they've done it themselves. It is usually coming down to the fonts that are being used and the way they're being used on a website, as well as spacing. Now, to your ideal client, who's coming to see your website, they're probably not a branding designer. And so they don't look at fonts and know that. This is what they experience though. When they look at a website that maybe isn't done up to the level that it could be done, or it's not working at its highest potential, what they actually see is something that doesn't feel quite right and they don't know why. That's all they know. It doesn't feel as good as maybe a competitor's website that was done with those types of design rules in mind. In order to get a better feel for what this looks like visually, I'm actually going to share my screen. So looking here, we have Allison's website. We see her logo here. We get a feeling for her brand because we're seeing these beautiful beachy photos. So as you can see, the intangible or invisible part of this brand, the thing that people can feel is the fact that she's beachy and fun. Okay, it's done in a way that makes sense for her. So keeping that in mind, coming on to Jag Studios here, we can see that her images are right in the forefront. We can see that. We can see her logo. We can see her colors are more neutral. Okay, and we can see that Allison's colors are more beachy and fun. Similarly, if I click on Tack House Weddings and Events, they're one of our newest website launches, we can immediately see that they have warm colors. And you can get a feel that these each have a different vibe to them, but you will also notice that the way we're using fonts is very consistent. So just to look at the font usage, you can see that with each of these websites, we have some fonts that we're consistently using. And as we're using them, we have a title font here that's a little bit bigger. We have a paragraph font here. We have maybe a subtitle font. And you can see every time we use the subtitle font, we're using it in about the same size, same thing with the title font. And every time we use the paragraph font, we're using it in the same size. This is something that blows my mind almost every single time. Kenny is a DIY site. He did his own, so I love to use him as an example. You can see he followed the rules of using fonts effectively. He has his secondary title, his main title font. He has a paragraph. He has a button font. He's going to keep this consistent all the way through. His title and his paragraph are always going to be the same. They're also going to be the same color every time. You might have a light color of the way you're using your fonts if you're on a darker background. And then if you have a dark version, you might have light fonts and the way you use those differently. But you can see pretty consistently here that they're the same font for title, the same font for paragraph, used at the same size and in the same way. So this is something that I really wanted to share with you guys, because if you're building a page on your own or you're making a brochure, any of those things, you want to keep these rules in mind. So now moving on from that, spacing is another issue. Whenever I see clients doing their own design, one of the other things I see is not giving enough space to your words. Okay, so you're cramming stuff in together and there's not enough space, either to the edge of the page like this, to the edge of the block like this, or between items within a block or a design. Whether you're making social media graphics, you're doing a brochure, anything like that, spacing is really important. And as you're looking through our websites, you usually see it's very clean and elegant, right? There's not a lot of stuff just crammed in there. It's not overlapping. Everything has space. Make sure you have space. Make sure you keep things minimal and keep them clean. So again, your client's not going to know why something doesn't feel right to them. All they're going to feel like is it doesn't feel clean and it feels like a lot. So the second piece or most important element of your website is going to be your homepage. The way people are actually using websites right now, a lot of clients, especially the highest end clients, may not visit any other page except for the homepage of your website. So what does that mean? We need to have a mini website within the website on your homepage. Your homepage should give your highest end dream client possible everything they need to see to know that they can trust you immediately, because a lot of high-end clients are quick decision makers and they understand when they see something they like, something they go for something. If your website is done correctly, your client will know within seconds that you are better, more experienced, that you're up a level, and they may know immediately within a few seconds that you're the way to go. So that's how important the homepage is. Your highest end dream client should want to book you no matter the cost within seconds of arriving on your homepage. But the first thing and the very most important thing on your website, the very top area, which is basically your header, it's going to be where your navigation is, where your logo is, and where your homepage, either slideshow or video, is going to be. Very rarely, if ever, do I think it's okay to have one image as that main area of your website. The only time that it's okay to either skip a homepage slideshow or a video at the very top of your homepage is if you're a business coach and you can get away with having one powerful picture of you on the top of that homepage as like a hero image. Even if you're a business coach, should be having either a slideshow or a video header, and I will show you examples of both in a minute. Why? This will instantly set you apart and make you more powerful looking than competitors who have just one image. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, what if somebody or your ideal client comes to your website and they don't like the first image that they see? Let's say you're a designer or a visual artist or a photographer or a realtor selling homes. If they come to that homepage of your website and the first image they see is something that they don't resonate with, or they just plain don't like it, they're gone, because that's the first thing people see. And they read all the stuff that's around that very top header area of your website. Having a slideshow allows you to show a few different projects if you're a designer, to show a couple of different styles of work that you do. If you're a videographer, a cinematographer, a visual storyteller, it shows different examples of your work that might potentially appeal to your dream client. There's more chance of them connecting with one of the things that they're seeing. So basically what you want to think about is, what is the best example of your work that you have? Is it a video or is it a photo? If it's a video, do you have examples of more than just one project that you've done, or do you just have one? If you only have one, we're not going to make a video header with just one piece of video footage. We would want to have several different things. So if you have enough photos, go with a photo header. If you have enough video, I would definitely love for you to go with the video header. Either one is great, and both of them are more powerful than just one image. Let me show you some headers first. For example, we saw Allison's header. So hers are mostly stock images, and that is okay. So if you're a coach, consultant, a service provider, and you don't do visual work, like for example, Allison is a CFO and a money strategist, we use stock imagery for her homepage slideshow, and that's totally fine. Okay, let's hop into Jacqueline's. One thing I do want to mention too, when we're designing websites for our clients, is we not only choose the homepage slideshow images, we also choose the order, and the order matters. So as you're looking through Jacqueline's homepage slideshow, you can see that we have this first one that was super dramatic as far as color goes. We're going in through some neutrals. We've got a red moment, neutrals again. The colors are flowing. If you can't tell, these were all done intentionally to go from one thing to the next and feel like it has a flow. So that's the level that we think about it, and that's the level of importance I want you to think about it for your website too. Coming up to Kenny, he has a great homepage video in his header. So we're seeing his work, and as you're going through, he is showing you that he does a lot of different styles, okay? It's not just one thing. We're seeing some white, super luxe things. We're seeing some nature. We're seeing venues in different areas. So we know that he does destinations. We're seeing some super uber luxe over the top stuff. We're seeing some elopements. We're seeing some things that are dripping in gold, and we're seeing some things that are a little more simple. So just to give you an idea, your client should be able to put themselves in the vision of what they're seeing. We want them to see something that they're going to be interested in. Same thing with Jose. You can see we have different styles, different colors, different aesthetics. Some are traditional, some are modern, some are colorful, some are neutral, okay? So hopefully you guys are seeing this, and that we're not just showing a one note thing. We're showing a lot of different stuff. Coming up into Tack House, they are actually a venue. They also do event planning, and have other services. So you'll see there are photos of their venue, and there's also photos of couples, there's photos of their designs, there's a lot of things mixed in there. Hey, Rich, he has different photos of him and his band performing. Super cool, some close-in shots, some detail shots, and then some further back shots, just to give you an idea, okay? Coming into our website, you guys know that we do a heck of a lot of things, right? And thank you, Kenny, for first of all, capturing all this stuff, and second of all, helping me make it into a homepage slideshow video. You can see here that we are showing everything we do in one way or another, whether it's visual branding, retreats, getting together in person, some of the websites we're doing. You're seeing it all in a very short amount of time. We like to be in beautiful places. There's some swag, there's some settings of events that we might have, but you're seeing it all in a very short period of time. And as you're looking at this, you can imagine that your future client may or may not watch the entire homepage video if you have a homepage video in your header, but they might, right? They might get so intrigued by it that they might sit there and just start watching the whole thing through. They may even watch it more than once. And just a small little tidbit or tip for you guys, hey, Charlie. If you actually have a business where you meet with people in person, a really great thing to do would be to put up your homepage slideshow or your homepage video header on a screen, whether it is a big TV in your office or like a small laptop. I used to keep mine up when I was event planner on a laptop and just let those photos play through. Because as they're listening to you, as they're talking to you, they're getting ideas, they're seeing your work. Hopefully it was helpful to see that. So we want to think of a homepage as a mini website in and of itself. Your future client should be able to scroll right through that homepage and feel like they know you, they can trust you, they can envision working with you, have a call to action, and basically have an entire experience from that homepage alone. You definitely want to have your best or your most recent work in that homepage slideshow. For those of you who are new or who have been in business for 3 to 5 years-ish and you're evolving and growing your portfolio, this is a crucial piece for you. As you get progressively better projects, maybe more high-end events if you're in the event world, the more your projects and your portfolio expands, the more you want to show that in your homepage slideshow. So you shouldn't be only updating your homepage slideshow once every year. If you get an insane, amazing project or an awesome event for your portfolio, you should be adding that in as soon as you get the photos back. If you're one of our clients and you need help or you need to know how to do it, just ask us and we'll tell you how to do it. We also want to have on that page a little area that is your market positioning statement. So that should be right underneath your homepage slideshow or homepage video. That one little statement should tell your future client exactly what you do within about a minute or less. They should be able to read it within seconds and know who you are, what you do, where you work, what your geographical region is, all of those things. We also need a mini bio. You can just put one photo of you and a mini bio about you and then a link to see more of your team. If you're partners and there are 2 of you, you can put a photo of you together, click through to learn more about your team. So there are a lot of different ways you can do it, but having a mini bio can build connection, especially if people don't click through to see any other pages. We also want testimonials or social proof. If you have any publications or as seen on or as seen in, we want to include that too to build credibility on your homepage. We also want to have a nice footer with a secondary navigation area. So if someone has scrolled all the way to the bottom, they don't need to scroll all the way to the top in order to click through and see other pages on your website, especially on mobile. And then we also want to have a call to action on the bottom of your homepage. Okay, so let's see, Allison, we've got navigation across the top, big dramatic logo. We have some beachy imagery. Okay, this is that market positioning statement that I was talking about. We have our Meet Allison block and a click to learn more about her. We have a link to her collections or services. And if you have a page for that, you can definitely add that into your homepage. We have testimonials for social proof, features and press. And we have a call to action, schedule a chat. Also included in her footer, we have the secondary navigation. We also have this call to action with following her on these social channels. And then we also do love to always put a Instagram feed in the bottom of our site. So you will see that as we're going through. There's also this super cute back to top button that you can just click and it brings you right back to the top of the page. Okay, we're gonna look through JAG. So we have Wow Factor, homepage slideshow. We have their market positioning statement. So everybody's market positioning statement is going to be a little bit different. Mini bio, click to read more. She has a testimonial here. She has a secondary navigation piece here that will bring you to different pieces of her website. So she has this cool navigation block, kind words, which have testimonials, features and press, which link to see more. She has a newsletter block. If you have a newsletter, you can add that in. She has a Instagram footer feed here. Then she has third point of navigation because she also had that navigation block in the middle. Here it's Kenny. Kenny has his homepage video. He has some of the destinations that he loves to work in most here, which is great. He has a brand identity film. This is bonus points. If you have this, this definitely builds connection with your audience. He has some links to featured events here, and he's choosing what he's putting here based on the types of clients he wants to close more of. Here is his market positioning block that talks a little bit more about him. He made the decision to put this further down on his page because he felt like other pieces of his page might be more important to his dream clients. So he put this further down, but it's still there. Press and partners, and his call to action, his footer, his Instagram feed, his secondary navigation, and his contact info. He had a call to action here, looking for photography and videography, and then his link to inquire. I'll go through ours just because we're a different industry. We're coaching and services, so it's more B2B. There's a little get to know us paragraph. This talks about our services so you can clearly and quickly see the things that we do. About our team, since we're a larger team. And then coaches can have some links to different ways that people can get started with you. We have kind words, testimonials, features and press, call to action, footer. So I think that gives you a good overview. So homepage should be a mini web page in and of itself. Portfolio, let's say you're a visual artist. Let's say you're a photographer, a cinematographer, an event planner, or you're a designer, and you have visual work. Again, just like that homepage slideshow, you're going to want to make sure you integrate those images and or video into your portfolios as fast as you possibly can. And that is exactly how, as a wedding planner back with my first business, that was how I went from a brand new person that nobody knew about using stock imagery on my website because I had never done an event, to a leader in my market within 2 years. Every time I did an event, every time I did something amazing, I was putting that immediately on my website. That was just something that I was obsessed about from the beginning, and it did really serve me well. My first year in business, I did 25 weddings, and they were mostly lower budget weddings, but I had one wedding, which at the time was a little bit nicer. This was 2008, so it was a million years ago. I had one budget that was $45,000. That wedding was the first time I got to show my style and really use design because the clients were not really giving me the opportunity to spend the type of money that I would have liked to do their event. So that first 45K event helped me to book 100K events the next year. So the quality of the imagery in your portfolio is everything. You really want to make sure that you're hiring the best possible photographers and video team for your work, because a good photographer or videographer can make your work look a million times better than it actually is. A bad photographer or videographer will make your work look less good than it actually is, and it will damage your ability to close higher end clients. You want to make sure that you're choosing a very high end photographer. I'm going to show you a real estate professional's website that we have done here. Okay, so you can see immediately her photos are very high res. They are stunning, right? And we actually planned the shoot with her down to planning her outfits, her hair and makeup, everything about it. And you can see how beautiful these images are. So like her homes that she puts on the market, you can imagine that these homes are going to sell right away. Right? But just to give you an idea, you see how gorgeous those images are. Our client who's really showing how much she cares about the homes that she's representing. Does that make sense? You'll see her mini bio, some links to her services. You see her testimonials, all the same things that we talked about in the other examples. So portfolio is important. And if you maybe don't do visual work as a service provider, then your photos of yourself are your portfolio, right? Your photos of you want to make sure that they're new, fresh, up to date. We recently found an amazing company called Workplay Branding that we work with, that we love. We've done 3 shoots with them this year, and it's given us a lot of really fun images to work with on our landing pages, on our website, and of course our Instagram. So portfolio is everything. And I'm going to pull up for 1 second our Instagram so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so if you're looking at this photo was from our branding shoot, this photo was from a branding shoot, this photo was from a branding shoot, so is this one, so is this video, so is this one. So you can see that you can really start to see more of our team than ever before because all of these are from our branding shoots. Even just seeing one example of a meet the team of being able to see us all together, it has been really great in helping to share the behind the scenes of what we're doing and for people to understand who we are as a team. And I've been really enjoying rolling those photos out on our Instagram. Now, about the company and your services. Sometimes we have clients that put about the company and services into one page together, and that's totally fine. Sometimes we have clients that like to split these into 2 pages. But basically, either way is fine. It doesn't really matter, but we want to make sure that you and or your team have not only a professional bio, but also some fun facts about you, some things that allow your audience to connect with you, have the opportunity to love you. So we want your dream client to be able to feel a connection to you. At a minimum, we want to describe each of your services very clearly with a title and a short description. Future clients should be able to tell right away exactly what you do from your homepage and your services page. Your market positioning statement should paint a picture of what your company does. And then on your services page, all of the services that you offer so that people can quickly and easily look at that and then know if your services apply to them. And then the last thing is we want to make sure that we have calls to action at the bottom of these pages. So now let's go back and look at the visuals again. In Rhonda's case, realtor, this is market positioning statement here, beautiful homes for luxury living. That in and of itself says it all right there. Then coming down here on the homepage, buying or selling, we've got you covered. So from a branding design perspective, we were thinking, okay, who are her types of clients? We want to make sure that each of them feel like they have a place here, right? Because some real estate agents only work with sellers, some only work with buyers, some only work with investors. So we want people to know on that homepage alone that she works with all of these types of people. Same thing with Jag Studios. This little block with the navigation quickly at a glance shows people who she works with and what she does on the homepage. I'm going to use Allison as an example for this one too, because I really love this. So Allison's about page, so beautiful. How much do we love that photo of Allison? Love. There is her more professional bio here. And then there are the fun facts about Allison here. So if you were to go check out her website, AllisonBWright.com, you can see that she has some fun facts about herself that if you read them, you'll feel like, okay, you really know Allison. Now let's go back to Rhonda. So she has about our company, shows a nice big team photo here. Some info about their business that's designed to make them stand out. Some awards and accolades, which are meant to do the same thing. A nice piece about Rhonda, the founder and the owner of the company. And then Rhonda's fun facts. She loves her dogs. She has 2 huge Newfoundland dogs. She loves to be crafty. She loves yoga and meditation. She loves fitness so much that she completed a half Ironman, right? So this is starting to paint a picture of who she is now. Meet our team. We have some pieces of her team here so you can see how that's all laid out with different team members. And that because Paula is someone that people might be working with individually, and she's a very front-facing team member, she has a larger bio area, whereas some of her more behind-the-scenes team members have smaller bios and things like that. I'm popping on to Rich's. Since he's the front man, there's going to be an emphasis on Rich here. You don't always have to put the rest of your team members on your website unless you want to. Okay, so he has their names and what they do, but he chose not to put their photos on there, and that's totally okay. And then a quick run through services. I actually really love Allison's services page. So she's going to tell about all of her different levels of services here. So she's really explaining what these services are and then who is a fit for that. So that if somebody is looking at this, they'll know right away, okay, I'm probably a fit for this one, or this is what I need right now. Then these buttons go to her contact page. So it does an anchor link and then it clicks through to her contact page. And then she has some FAQ here, which is always good to have somewhere on your website. It's not essential, but it is a nice piece to add to your website. I'll show you ours as a juxtaposition with a different industry. So since we have more than one way to work with us, we have more than one services page. We have a coaching page, which has our coaching programs here. There's a video on each, a quick description of what it is and what it costs in most cases. We also have our other services, so branding, website design, but this gives you an idea of what these kinds of pages can look like. And then Rhonda's is a really good different industry too. So this is for buyers. So this is going to talk about services just for buyers. And we decided with her to walk them through the different steps in the buying process, the different neighborhoods they specialize in, and then planning on selling too. So she talks about how she'll many times handle both buying and selling for clients. We split up some testimonials. So she has what our buyers are saying on her buyer's page, and on her seller's page, she has a bit more information about choosing a real estate agent, why it's important, the steps putting your house on the market and selling your home. So it shows all the photos of the homes. And then if the home had a property video, it also allow you to click on that. Okay. The next stuff is more theoretical and it's less visual. We already talked about clean, concise, clear user experience. Everything should feel neat and tidy. Everything should be clear. As far as from a user experience perspective, this is what is helpful when you're having a coach or a branding or website designer come in from the outside and give you an opinion. We're at an advantage because it's not ours. I haven't spent hours working on the website you have right now. You might be attached to certain projects, events, things that you've worked on. You have a different relationship with your business than I do. I'm very objective. And when I'm coming in to help you with your business, either as a coach, branding, website designer, or marketing company, social media management company, I'm coming in because I want to help you get clients. So when I come in and I look at your website, whether I'm doing a website review or we're designing a website for you, the very first thing I do is literally dissociate from myself and become your ideal client. For example, with Rhonda, who's a real estate agent, I have worked with so many realtors in my life. In the last 14 years or so, we've bought and sold 8 homes, right? So we've worked with realtors on the buying and the selling side. We've had to really be in that shoe to be a client for a real estate agent. We know who looks good, who doesn't look good. We know what kind of information to look at. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm coming in from the outside and I'm saying, if I'm your client, am I seeing what I want to see in order to hire you? Can I navigate easily and quickly to the information that I need? Because as you guys know, each potential client that's coming to your website is going to want different things, right? We want to make sure that all of those people feel invited in and they feel like they have easy access to any of the information that they want and that they know exactly where to go. So that's what's called user experience. Now, you are not thinking about your website that way. You're thinking about, what do I want to say? What do I want to have on here? What do I want to include? So you're thinking about it from a what do you want to share experience, and not so much if my client comes in, what do they want to click on and what do they want to see? So if you want to train yourself to think like a branding and website designer or a coach, you need to be able to go to your website and detach yourself from any emotions related to how you feel about a certain project you did or what you want to say in that moment. And you need to pretend like you're putting on client goggles, right? You're going to go to your website with your client goggles on and say, if I'm a future client, am I seeing what I need to see? Can I find what I need to find? Is there too much information? Is there not enough information? Do I feel like I want to contact this person? So you have to think about it from that point of view. And you want to also think about the role of your website when it comes to your booking process. Unless you have a click to buy product or service that someone can click through, check out, and it's a done sale. If you're providing a service, most of the time, you're going to have a consultation with a client, unless it's, okay, buy this collection for $500. Here's the thing, you buy it, you click it, you're good to go. Your job of your website is not designed to sell for you. And so you really want to think about the stages that a client goes through when they first try to find you. They're going to go through your marketing. They're going to go through your advertising. The goal of marketing and advertising is to get them to click through to your website to learn more about you. Okay, so that's the function and the goal of marketing and advertising, is to get them to click through to your website and to get to know more about you. The goal of your website is to share anything that your potential client might need to know, to put it out there in a way that's easy to follow, easy to navigate. And the goal of the website is to get them to book a consultation in most of your cases, right? So you need to look at your website and say, is that what I'm doing here? Or am I giving too much information to where they don't need to contact me because they already have all the information they need to know? Which is one of the reasons why I never recommend to put pricing on a website or a brochure that someone gets before they do a consultation. So we want to get them to take the next step, which in most of your cases is going to be to come through and book a consultation. In a coach or like a click to buy situation, you've got a lot of other rules to follow. We're going to need a whole nother video about that. We're going to need to talk specifically about that because there's a lot of rules that go into selling things online. So remember the role of your website. It's designed to get you to click through and book a consult. We also want to talk about technology. The easiest way to explain this is you guys know that your phone every few years is going to be out of date, right? And at some point, you can get away with maybe not updating things for a bit, but at some point, you're going to need to update it. Whether it's the phone itself needs an update, the software needs an update. I want you guys to remember this about your websites, because even if you're a client of ours, regardless of when we did your website, there's going to be tech updates on the back end. So just like sometimes your phone needs an iOS update or it won't function properly, the same might happen for your website. We, as your designers, or you, if you're a DIY designer, have no control over when those updates happen. It's on a platform that's independent of what we decide, right? So keep in mind that if your website starts like acting a little weird or funky, it just probably needs a plugin, a software update. And in very rare cases, it's going to need to be moved onto a new platform with the newest technology available. It's important to stay up to date. If it's time to update or if you need to make a change, you can reach out to your designer. You can reach out to us if it's us, or you can reach out to the platform that you're building on. So if it's Squarespace or WordPress, have somebody look at your site to see if there's anything on the back end that's invisible that you can't see that needs to be updated. We've had clients, when we first start working with them, even if we wanted to go in the back end of their website and make a change, we couldn't, because their website was so old and out of date. We could not make the change without crashing their website. So it's very important for you guys to do the mini updates along the way. Make sure you know what those are. It's going to be different for every platform though. So just keep in mind that your website is a living and breathing entity. Okay, moving on to the last piece that I think is super important for any website is a strong inquiry form. If your website is to the level that your dream clients would want to book you no matter the cost within seconds, then you're going to have a lot of inquiries, right? So some of our clients have hundreds of inquiries every single month that they have to sort through. And the volume of inquiries you're getting is going to depend on a lot of things. It'll depend on your website itself, on your business and how many competitors you have in your market. Will also depend on the amount of traffic you're sending to your website. So if you have the best website ever and no inquiries, then chances are you're going to need more traffic. The goal of having a website with all the must-haves that we just talked about is to increase your inquiries so that you have more leads, so that you can speak to more qualified clients, so you can book more sales within your business, so you can make more money, more profit, and more personal income, right? So if we're doing our jobs correctly, you should be getting great inquiries and you should be getting enough inquiries. Your inquiry form on your website is supposed to help you sort through your inquiries and qualify your leads before you speak to them. So it will help you know who's a high-end potential inquiry, who's someone you really, really want to work with, who's a price shopper, or who's maybe not the best fit for you. You should know that from the responses on your inquiry form. And ideally, your inquiry form is going to be embedded from a CRM like HoneyBook or Dubsado or Tave or any of those platforms where you can manage your inquiries and see the pipeline, and it will remind you when you haven't followed up with an inquiry. But the main goal of this inquiry form is to help you sort out which are the best clients that you want to follow up with the fastest and which ones maybe you can afford to take a little bit longer with. So in the example of one of our clients who gets 60 to 100 inquiries a month, it's $1 million per year business. Her biggest challenge is sorting inquiries, pushing them through the sales process, making sure everybody has a proposal and nobody gets left behind. However, there are times when she gets an inquiry that is not the right fit. So we have worked together to create a process for this, trained her team to send what we call a penny pincher email. So if somebody feels like they're a penny pincher, they get this lovely email that clarifies and confirms what their project scope is and the price point that they're looking to spend before they actually schedule a consult. Most clients are not in the place of needing the penny pincher email yet, but just to think about it from that perspective, let's say you got maybe 10 times the number of inquiries you have right now. What would you need on that form in order to help you sort them out, in order to decide what's important, what's not important, to know if a client is going to be a good fit for you or not? Ideally, it wants to feed right into your CRM. Secondarily, we need to be able to pre-qualify. Let's look at Jacqueline's. Okay, get in touch. We have name, email address, phone number, what type of project they have, because you see she does a lot of different types of photography there. The event or project date, that's important. The location, tell us about you and your desires, is helpful, because if somebody gives you a description of what they're looking for, it could help you know if they're a right fit or not. How did you hear from us? And then she has a thing here about opting in or out. So hers does not have a qualifying question about price point. So some people don't. Let me show you an example of someone who I know has it, just so you can check it out. Griffin and Griffin Lighting. Their website is griffingriffinlighting.com. If you go to their contact form, they have price point. Chris Weinberg Events also has price point, and they do it different ways. So I'm going to show you that. So on Griffin and Griffin's website, they have the investment level, and this is only related to lighting. And on Chris's, it is the total event budget, desired event price point. So if you're an event planner, I recommend you do the desired event price point. If you're a contractor or a home organizer, I would do the total project price point. If you are like a videographer, a photographer, a venue, it might be helpful to know what is their price point for your services specifically. If you're a venue, it could go either way. But I like to have that there as a qualifier. I know that sometimes with coaches, we'll have what's the level investment that you're looking to invest in right now. So it could be a starter, single course, or bundle, and then mid courses plus support, and then high touch private coaching could be an example. So it doesn't actually have to be a number. It can also be an emotional commitment level, but we need to make sure we are able to sort our inquiries and prioritize the highest end inquiries first. It matters less when you have fewer inquiries. When you have more inquiries, it matters more. If our goal is to have more inquiries, then we should be installing that early on so that it's there, so that you can prioritize as you boost your traffic. I'm going to come into comments here. I see Paula saying she forgot the actual purpose of the website. Absolutely. It's to get inquiries. That's really it. If you're doing a click to buy product, it's to get sales, but most of you are a service. It's going to be to a consultation. Suli's question is, can you share some strategies on how to direct more traffic to the website? I always recommend working on the brand and website first. Make sure it's up to the level it needs to be for us to start playing with traffic. I always say that your website is an asset. And if you don't have it, it doesn't matter how much traffic you drive towards, either no website or a website that's not up to par or not helping you at your highest potential. Traffic doesn't matter at that point if your website is not designed to convert. Okay, so that's step number one. And I have to say that because if I don't, people are going to dive right into marketing because that's what everybody does. So how to get more traffic to your website? That is a great question, Suli. Could take me 92 years to answer that. But in a nutshell, I always say to choose the traffic sources or marketing or advertising that are going to make the most sense for you and are strategically the best chance of you getting the type of inquiries that you want to get. So in Suli's case, Suli is an event planner. What I do with all of my event pros, whether you're an event planner, cinematographer, photographer, venue, you're in the event industry, you got to advertise on some wedding specific websites. If nothing else, make sure that you're on at least one wedding specific website. The Knot and Wedding Wire has the highest volume out of every platform on the internet. So as much as some of you guys think that you're not going to get high end enough inquiries, my highest end clients that have 7-figure per year businesses are all on those platforms. So please let that sink into your head. The ones who get 160 inquiries per month are all on those platforms. What determines whether you get higher end inquiries or lower end inquiries is 100% your brand, your website, and your portfolio. That's what differentiates it. And please keep in mind that celebrities, high-end clients, and affluent humans who are getting married, all they know is they keep getting ads for this on their Instagram and their Facebook, right? Because once they get targeted, they keep getting ads and ads. And because the Knot and Wedding Wire have been around for so long and they have such a large community, they're able to use things like Facebook and Instagram advertising to get more of your potential clients onto their website. Party Slate is another good one. You can also look around and see if there are any free or cheap options, like some of the wedding blogs are less expensive. There's a lot of different blogs out there, but let me tell you, when I was a wedding blogger, Knot and Wedding Wire traffic was up here. My Baby blog traffic was down here. Every other blog is like here. Knot and Wedding Wire is the only one that's up there. So just keep that in mind. Industry specific advertising. Let's say you're a brick and mortar business or a real estate agent or a caterer, like our friend Robin. These things are really great. EDDM. This is an every door direct mailer that we designed. This is for real estate. This is for the same client that I showed you her website. And this she sends out to specific neighborhoods that she chooses to target. And there's some QR codes that we put in here in order to get traffic to her website. Don't forget, of course, for everyone is optimizing your social media. Suli, in your case, you already did a website with us, so yours is good to go.
Then your next step is to work on Instagram, social media, boosting your advertising in any way you can. If there's any free advertising that you could do, like sometimes, for example, a free profile, just do some research and see what can I get on free or cheap to give me more traffic. And then what can I strategically invest in that I know that my ideal clients are coming from. Once you're finished with your brand and your website, it's EP & Co approved, you're good to go. You're going to want to spend most of your time in marketing and sales land. And so playing with marketing, playing with social media, boosting your marketing efforts, posting 5 times a week instead of 3 or 2, making sure that you're building an audience, using hashtags properly, all of those things. So that's how you boost your traffic. I would say start with the easy, which is identifying different advertising platforms that you can get on and using those consistently. Maybe some are free, some are cheap, maybe some are expensive. Choose wisely. Get a good little mix in there so that you know you have some traffic coming your way. And then you can start, once you have that going and it's like your baseline, then you can jump into social media and then that can be your job. And the great thing about targeted industry specific traffic, you're going to get like a trickle or a flow of leads coming in that you can count on. That's a reliable one. Social media and marketing and learning tricks and techniques for that can maybe take some time to master it 100%. So let the industry specific advertising be your easy go-to, and then you get to play and experiment with marketing. So Hannah said, I would love to hear more about the clarifying email for penny pinchers. The budget question doesn't always give me the best idea of what they're actually prepared to spend. So I don't recommend using the penny pincher email unless you're getting more inquiries than you can do consultations for. And if you're in that boat and there's literally no way for you to do consultations for all the inquiries you're getting, then you can do the penny pincher email. So a penny pincher email can be simple as, I'll just say, hi, Hannah, it's so great to hear from you. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. We're so excited to hear from you about your wedding cake. I noticed here that you have about 300 guests on your inquiry form and that your wedding is October 22nd. We're actually pretty busy for that date, so we only have room for one more dessert display and wedding cake on that day. The minimum required investment would be blank. Would you still be interested in chatting? Bam, done. That's it. So we're telling them what the minimum is for that day. And then if they can meet it, they can meet it. If they can't, and they can head out. So that's a penny pincher email. And you can use it, like, for example, say you're getting booked up on a specific date or weekend or like holiday weekend, and you're almost at full capacity. You can use it to narrow down the type of people that you're working with on that day. If you know it's a busier month of the year, you can use it proactively up front. Or if you're just getting a ton of inquiries and you want to make sure that you're pre-qualifying before you get on the phone, you can use it. The only thing I will say is some people do get offended by it, which is why I'm saying if you don't have more inquiries than you can easily handle, don't use that strategy. Okay. Then Hannah also followed up with, if you have any tips on listing the budget question on the inquiry form with the wording that gets a solid picture of what a client is prepared to spend. I find that people click the number but are often willing to spend more. Let me check out your inquiry form real quick. Beautiful website. You did a great job. So nice to see it again. Okay, so we have first and last name, email, phone number, event date. Okay, you have number of guests, which is really helpful. If you want to make this easier for your clients, you can put a drop-down menu similar to this one, and you can put a range like 50 to 100 guests, 100 to 200, anything that can help you get an idea on the size if you want to make it easier for them. So for your case, what you might want to put is 2 questions. One, what type of dessert are you interested in investing in? And then maybe one could be like a simple celebration cake, custom over the top wedding cake. Is it just like a simple cake? They want an over the top like custom cake, or do they want like a full bore display? That'll give you a really good idea to pre-qualify them. So that can be one question and do the select. And then the next one, you can put what is the desired price point that you're looking to spend for your desserts at your event. And then in that one, you can give a range like 0 to 500, 1500 to 2000, 3 to 5. And then you can say something like the sky's the limit. I just want something over the top as your last bracket. Oh, she has a separate form under her wedding tab. Oh, so then you should probably make that your main form. Just keep that in mind, because if that is the main form that I went to, if someone just comes to your homepage and then they click contact and they're not getting the form with all the pre-qualifiers, maybe make the one form for every single possible scenario that you might potentially have. Okay, so she's got similar ranges, and then I would recommend you put some higher ranges too, like 2 to 3,000, 3 to 5,000, and then put the sky's the limit. I just want something over the top. Who knows if you'll ever get it, but if a client doesn't see that as an option, they're going to think you don't serve at that level. So yeah, I think what you need to do is merge your contact forms into one that apply to every single scenario that you might encounter. Because as a user, I went to your website and the first thing I did was click contact. Now, if I'm a wedding person, I see that this is here, but it was easy for me to miss. So I would make just one inquiry form and put it in both places. Hannah was just saying here at the end that she said the growth that's happening in this current season makes her current info feel out of date. Absolutely, that will happen. That's great. It means you're doing something right. If you feel like you're evolving and you need a next level thing, it means that your business is up leveling. So that's a good thing. And it's okay to go back and make revisions. And that's what I was saying when we were talking about keeping technology up to date. Same thing with information. So as you grow and evolve, you might have to change things. Don't be afraid to do it. If you feel like something is out of date and it needs an update and you're DIYing, do it yourself. Oh, this is a great example, Rich. So this is how it started with Rich. He did his own website and then he was like, I feel like I'm definitely getting better quality leads, but I still want them like up another level, or I still want it like up one more level. And then he had us do his branded website. So sometimes it evolves to having a pro doing it. If you feel like, oh my gosh, my business is booming and I just really want this to be at my highest potential, whether it's information, portfolio, technology, you just want to keep it updated. What do you think about clearly stating minimums? Does that turn people off or just save both parties some time? I never liked minimums myself. I never recommend minimums. How cute is Charlie? Please tell me in the comments. I don't. I would rather you guys qualify them based upon their price point than saying a minimum for your services. I have always felt that way for the years that I've been doing this. You want to be inviting and you're the one who decides whether it's a project you want to do. Also, maybe it's during your off season in the winter and you don't have that much going on and you might want to take it just to get some cash in the door or to make a sale. So I would recommend staying away from minimums. The other issue that I see with minimums is that people hold you to it. So let's say you do a starting at price. Let's say for a minute, you say starting at blank, whatever that dollar is. Then you go through this whole consultation, you make a proposal, you put all this time into the client and they're like, wait a minute, I thought that planning was starting at 5,000. Why is my proposal 8,000? And then they hold you to it. No, that's starting at, you have several other factors. So I usually just think to keep minimums and pricing off your website. The best way to rule someone in or out, if you are having a very busy time or you need to get on less consultations or you're fully booked for their date or you're almost fully booked, is to do the penny pincher email. But other than that, you probably want every inquiry that you can get just to make sure, because sometimes they're not telling the truth and sometimes their price point is actually higher than what they say. And so you just want them to be ready to reach out to you because there's a lot of power in having that consultation. And sometimes people will upsell into other categories, or they'll decide to do more because they love you, or all of a sudden they understand the importance of your service and so they upgrade. So hopefully that helps. All right, everybody, I hope you loved this one. And we hope you guys are all having an amazing week and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, guys.